Okay, some of the practices we do to maintain a high level of communication regarding safety, productivity, all the goals and targets, and is that we do a daily work plan where the crews are all getting together, they're gearing up, they're in the morning, and they're discussing what's going to happen, what's not going to happen, or the whole world of the plan of the job site. Every job does that. On the Skyline, it gets a little bit more complex because we do very specific things like check the guy lines and so on and so forth. So there's that, and then the other aspect of it, our OH&S committee puts out regular communications of safety matters. If there's been an accident with another employer or a close call with ourselves, is we actually have a sign-off sheet that the supervisor will take to the crew. They'll review the relevant information for whatever that incident or accident was, and then they'll actually sign off on it. We'll actually have the crew print and sign their name, so hey, you actually did take an interest and actually read the document, or it could have been that the supervisor, the other thing the supervisor can do is take that document and create it for the whole crew, create the whole background of it, and it's it can be a really great way to have everybody present to the safety incident and such. That's that you're not giving on a paper, here, read this and sign it and give it back to me tomorrow, but the supervisor, I encourage them to create it with the crew that morning. The other way we keep communication widely open is most organizations have more than one supervisor. So we have a weekly call with all the supervisors, and we'll discuss productivity, safety, anything that went off the rails that week. And we'll create targets for the following week. And so when people are thinking out ahead on their targets, they're also thinking ahead some of the challenges they got. Road changes, equipment that needs to be repaired or maintained, different things that need to be repaired even from the safety perspective to maximize safety. So we try to get the guys thinking out ahead.
I think the key to developing an effective crew talk is to involve everybody. It shouldn't be a one-sided conversation. You should be out there. These guys are out in the field every day in these settings, so they're seeing much more of it than you are. To have an open dialogue with them and the availability for them to call you during the day, after work, frequent visits, and really get feedback from the guys on site, that's what's really important out there.
Things that our contractors do that make them very effective working within our system is mainly about communication. The key to any safety program is communication. So they got to check on their staff. First they start off with First they had to start off with having a pre-work. A pre-work is really important for us and for them. We talk about the hazards of the job, what we can expect from them, what they need to give to us as far as if they have an incident, what we expect from them, and how we would do a joint investigation to try and deal with the issues, because is it process, is it something else? And that's really important. So again, it's the communication side of things that's really important. So we start off with our pre-work, and then we also then go in the field and we check their safety program as far as key components. Are they actually having their safety meetings? Are they dealing with the hazards on the site? Do they have safety field procedures that deal with the hazards of their job? Are they checking some of the competency of their staff? These are some of the key components that we want our contractors to look at. And that way, by making them look at that, or by them looking at that, we know that they actually have safety on the forefront. They're actually making sure their staff understand that we're supposed to be doing. We have a shared communication and responsibility as far as they tell us what is going, say maybe one of our plans aren't working very well, they're supposed to come back to us and tell us, and then we look at and change the plan and so forth. So it's kind of really shared with our contractors. It's quite a shared responsibility as far as control and knowledge. So we have the control and knowledge of the planning side. They have more of the control and knowledge of the actual action. So we need to interact to make it the safest environment possible.
One tool that we use for our inspections that's huge is a simple checklist. And at the end of the day, myself and the contractor will sign it off together. Yeah, we've done this, we've checked this out. We've agreed that, okay, everything's where it should be, or there's some comments at the bottom saying we need to follow up with this. And it's huge, getting out there and making sure that it's done the same way consistently. And if we run into a stone wall, there's the old stop theory, right? You run into something, okay, this is something new, something I'm not used to, I'm not comfortable here, let's stop, get a hold of somebody who can help me, maybe the on-site supervisor or maybe myself if I'm out there. And we'll go through and we'll develop a plan that we can do it, or we'll walk from it.
Just be calm. You're going to get frustrated.
While building a good relationship with the supervisors from Weyerhaeuser is very important. And we're very fortunate with Weyerhaeuser with all their training they put in. And I think their maps and everything is above all they have a really hands-on. You can talk to the people in the layout division more. If you run into different terrain on the block, you can delete those areas. And it's very important to have a good relationship with your supervisor, right? And the door's got to be open with your supervisor, so when you do come across those different areas in those blocks, you know, your relationship is huge, right?
Well, when we do our pre-starts with contractors, we go through quite a list on a pre-start sheet that we have carbon copy in the works, so the contractor gets that carbon copy. But there's a lot of different things we go through on there. We go through any of the hazards that we may have observed in the block, or that somebody in the block may have already identified, like previous to a logger going in there, there might have been a road building crew in there, or there might have been fallers in there that have identified some hazard in the block. That's passed on. We've got that documented on a map, and that'll be on the pre-start with them. We're also looking to see what they've got for fire protection, where there is a creek around or what they need to have in the area. We talk about first aid response, if there's other crews working in the area, how far away you are from help, and how many people are going to be working in the area, and how high a risk is it. Also, if you're going to be interacting with the public, that puts a whole nother aspect into things, because you don't exactly know what their moves are going to be. So you got to expect the unknown. So there's lots of different things you got to look at, and every site is site specific. So you kind of got to give it a lot of thought before you go in there. And a lot of times you go to a site before you do the pre-start with somebody and sign off a map with them, and just have a look around and come up with some of that stuff. You know,